In a busy marketplace in a vibrant city, the sun is high in the sky, casting warm light on the crowded streets. Vendors shout to promote their goods, selling spices, fruits, fabrics, and trinkets. The air is filled with the scent of exotic spices, and the sounds of bartering fill the air. Narrow streets weave between rows of stalls, creating a maze-like atmosphere. Enter Aladdin, a young man with a curious look on his face, wearing simple clothes. He moves through the market, observing the activity around him. Aladdin, thinking the market is always so full of life. If only I had the coins to buy something. Aladdin stops by a stall where a vendor displays colorful fruits. He looks at the vendor, who grins and waves. Come, young man. Fresh fruits, the best in the city. Just a few coins for a taste of paradise. Aladdin, smiling, shaking his head, maybe next time, friend. I'm just looking. Aladdin continues walking, passing a group of children playing with wooden toys. He looks at them fondly, remembering his own childhood. Aladdin muttering how simple life seemed back then. Suddenly, a mysterious figure in dark robes watches from the shadows of a nearby alleyway. The figure's eyes are fixed on Aladdin. Figure, whispering to himself, he is the one, the perfect pawn for my plan. The camera focuses on Aladdin as he turns a corner, unaware of the figure's gaze. The scene fades as Aladdin continues exploring the vibrant market, his future about to take a fateful turn. Setting: a vast desert under a scorching sun. Sand dunes rise and fall endlessly. Aladdin and the mysterious man walk side by side, their figures small against the expanse. The sky is bright blue, the heat shimmering in the air. Distant rocky cliffs and mountains signal their destination. Aladdin struggles through the sand, sweat dripping down his face. He looks at the mysterious man, growing impatient. Aladdin panting, how much farther? We've been walking forever. Is this lamp even real? Mysterious man calm, unfazed, we're close. The cave is hidden, protected by magic. Few know its location. Aladdin, glancing around at the sand dunes, and you do? How? Mysterious man with a smirk, I've spent years searching. This is no ordinary cave, Aladdin. Only you can enter. Aladdin gives the man a suspicious look. As they walk, the desert shifts to rocky terrain, and a narrow canyon comes into view. The air changes, cooler now but thick with mystery. Aladdin muttering, why me? Mysterious man overhearing cryptically, you'll see soon enough. They walk through the canyon, its towering walls casting deep shadows. Strange, glowing symbols are carved into the rock. Aladdin eyeing the carvings, what are these? Mysterious man, glancing at them, ancient magic. We're nearly there. At the canyon's end, a solid rock wall blocks their path. The mysterious man waves his hand, and the rock shifts, revealing a dark cave entrance with a faint glow inside. Mysterious man, gesturing the cave of wonders. The lamp is inside. Aladdin steps forward, staring at the cave, his heart racing. Aladdin, with determination, let's do this. He enters the cave, the mysterious man watching with a sly smile as the shadows swallow Aladdin. A vast desert under the scorching sun. Sand dunes stretch endlessly, and the rocky cliffs in the distance seem far away. Aladdin and the mysterious man walk side by side, their figures small against the wide expanse of the desert. The heat shimmers and the sky is a bright, cloudless blue. Aladdin wipes sweat from his forehead, struggling through the sand, looking increasingly impatient. Aladdin panting, how much farther? We've been walking for ages. Is this lamp even real? Mysterious man calmly, patience. We're nearly there. The cave is hidden, protected by powerful magic. Only a few know of its existence. Aladdin, glancing at the sand dunes, and how do you know where it is? Mysterious man with a smirk, I've spent years searching for it, but only someone like you can retrieve what's inside. You were meant for this. Aladdin narrows his eyes, unsure whether to believe him. As they walk, the desert terrain changes into rocky ground. They approach a narrow canyon, the air cooler and more still. Aladdin muttering, "Why me? What's so special about me?" Mysterious man overhearing, "You'll see soon enough." They enter the canyon, the towering stone walls casting long shadows. Strange symbols carved into the rocks glow faintly as they walk deeper into the passage. Aladdin looking at the carvings, "What are these?" Mysterious man glancing at the symbols, "Ancient magic." "We're almost there." At the end of the canyon, a large rock face blocks their way. The mysterious man waves his hand, and the rock shifts, revealing a hidden cave entrance glowing faintly from within. Mysterious man gesturing, "The Cave of Wonders." Inside is the lamp. "Go on, Aladdin. It's waiting for you." Aladdin steps toward the cave, heart racing. He hesitates for a moment, then takes a deep breath and steps inside. Aladdin determined, "Let's do this." The shadows of the cave swallow him as he disappears inside. The mysterious man watches, a satisfied smile creeping onto his face. Inside the Cave of Wonders. The inside of the Cave of Wonders is vast and mystical, with walls lined with shimmering jewels and gold. The ceiling is high, and the cave glows with a faint magical light. Treasure piles glitter in every corner, but the cave is silent, almost eerie. In the middle of the cave stands a tall stone pedestal, and on top of it rests the old, dusty lamp. Aladdin cautiously steps deeper into the cave, his footsteps echoing softly. He gazes around, his eyes wide with amazement at the treasure surrounding him. Aladdin, whispering to himself, awestruck, "I've never seen anything like this. So much gold, jewels, but it's all just sitting here." He approaches the pedestal with the lamp. As he gets closer, the glow of the cave intensifies slightly, as if responding to his presence. Aladdin looking at the lamp, frowning, "This is it? Just an old lamp? Doesn't look like much." He reaches out slowly, hesitating for a moment, then grabs the lamp off the pedestal. For a second nothing happens. Then the ground beneath him trembles slightly, and a low rumble echoes through the cave. Aladdin startled, looking around. "Oh, what's going on?" The cave begins to shake more violently. Rocks and debris start falling from the ceiling. The treasure piles seem to shift and move, as if the cave itself is coming alive. Aladdin panicking, "I need to get out of here now." He clutches the lamp tightly and dashes toward the entrance, dodging falling rocks and debris. The cave continues to collapse around him, the glow becoming dimmer as the magic fades. As Aladdin runs, he stumbles, nearly falling into a large crack that opens up in the ground. He barely manages to leap over it, breathing heavily. Aladdin desperately, come on. I can't die in here." He reaches the entrance just as the cave continues to crumble. The moment he steps out, the entrance seals shut behind him with a loud thud. Aladdin collapses on the ground outside, catching his breath, still clutching the lamp. Aladdin exhausted, relieved that was too close. He looks at the lamp in his hand, still not understanding its importance. Aladdin, talking to the lamp, slightly amused, "You better be worth it." The scene fades as Aladdin lies on the ground, staring at the strange lamp, unsure of what's to come. Aladdin talking to himself, frustrated, all that trouble. And for what? An old worthless lamp. This can't be it. What was that guy thinking? He rubs the side of the lamp, trying to clean it off, but as he does, the lamp starts to glow. A swirl of thick smoke pours out, quickly growing and swirling into a giant, colorful cloud. Aladdin jumps back in shock as the smoke takes shape, transforming into the towering figure of the genie. Genie booming voice, stretching. "Ah, finally. I'm free. After all these years stuck in that cramped little lamp." Aladdin stumbles backward, eyes wide in disbelief as the massive genie floats above him, stretching and twisting in midair. Aladdin stammering, stunned, "What are you? Where did you come from?" Genie grinning, floating down to Aladdin's level. "Me? Oh, I'm the genie of the lamp, at your service. And guess what, kid? You're my new master." Aladdin blinks, staring at the genie in disbelief. He looks at the lamp, then back at the genie, trying to make sense of it all. Aladdin confused. Wait, Master? What are you talking about? Genie excitedly, that's right. You've got 3 wishes. Anything your heart desires. You name it, I can do it. Riches, power, fame, whatever you want. Aladdin slowly stands, still processing what's happening. He glances at the genie, then at the lamp in his hand, starting to understand. Aladdin, incredulous, 3 wishes? For anything I want. Genie, nodding, anything. Well, almost anything. There are a few rules: no wishing for more wishes, no making people fall in love, and no bringing people back from the dead. Other than that, it's all yours. Aladdin pauses, taking it all in. His whole life has been one of poverty and struggle, and now in front of him is the chance to change everything. But he's still cautious. Aladdin thoughtfully, so, I could wish for anything? Like being rich, living in a palace. Genie, grinning, absolutely. You could be the richest man in the world. You could have anything you've ever dreamed of. All it takes is a wish. Aladdin thinks hard, pacing as he considers his options. The opportunity is overwhelming, but he also knows the power of the genie could change everything about his life. He's unsure what to do first. Aladdin, murmuring to himself, 3 wishes. I have to make them count. Genie, floating beside him, trying to be encouraging, exactly. Think big, kid. This is your chance to live like royalty. Or better. Aladdin stops and looks directly at the genie, his decision clear in his eyes. Aladdin with determination, okay. For my first wish, I wish to be a prince. The genie's face lights up with excitement. He grins broadly and snaps his fingers. There's a bright flash of magic, and suddenly Aladdin's ragged clothes are transformed into luxurious royal garments. A golden crown appears on his head, and he is dressed like a prince, his appearance regal and commanding. Genie proudly done. Behold Prince Aladdin in all your royal glory. Aladdin looks down at his new outfit in amazement. His once tattered clothes have been replaced with silk and jewels, and he looks every bit the part of a prince. He touches the crown on his head, hardly able to believe it. Aladdin, awed, speaking to himself, this is incredible. I really look like a prince. Genie grinning, floating around him, not just any prince. You've got the finest clothes, the biggest palace, and all the riches you could ever want. You're officially royalty, kid. Aladdin stands tall, feeling the weight of his new status. He looks out over the desert, the reality of what just happened sinking in. Aladdin to himself, thoughtful, a prince. I never thought this would be possible. Maybe now I can finally change my life. Genie, hovering beside him casually, oh, trust me, Al. Your life's about to change in ways you've never imagined. This is just the beginning. The scene fades as Aladdin, now dressed as a prince, stands in the desert with the genie floating beside him. Aladdin looks determined, realizing the possibilities that lie ahead with his new power. Prince Aladdin's grand entrance to the palace *** in the busy streets of Agrabah. Crowds have gathered, filling the market square as the grand procession of Prince Aladdin of Ababwa makes its way toward the palace. People are amazed, whispering to each other as Aladdin rides atop a magnificent white horse. The genie, now disguised as Aladdin's loyal servant, walks beside him with a grin on his face. Colorful banners fly in the breeze, and trumpets blare to announce the arrival of the prince. The palace looms in the distance, its golden domes shining brightly. Aladdin, dressed in his princely attire, looks both excited and nervous as he takes in the spectacle around him. Aladdin, whispering to Genie, unsure, is this really necessary? It feels a little too much. Genie, grinning, walking confidently beside him, too much? Kid, when you're making your royal debut, you've got to go big. It's all about first impressions. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Aladdin shifts in his saddle, trying to look confident as he waves to the cheering crowd. Aladdin, under his breath, still nervous, right? First impressions. The crowd continues to cheer, throwing flowers and waving as the procession passes. Aladdin glances down at the people in awe. He's never been the center of attention like this before. Townspeople, whispering in amazement, "Who is that prince? He's so handsome. And look at his clothes. I've never heard of a babwa, but he must be important." The procession makes its way closer to the palace gates. Aladdin straightens his posture, trying to look regal as the trumpets sound louder. He catches a glimpse of the palace in the distance, its tall gates, lush gardens, and the grand entrance. Aladdin, whispering again, anxious, "We're getting close. What if they don't believe I'm a real prince? What if I mess this up?" Genie, giving Aladdin a reassuring pat on the back, "Relax, Prince Ali. Aladdin. You've got this. Just keep smiling and act like you own the place. No one's gonna doubt it." As they approach the towering palace gates, the guards stand to attention. The gates open slowly with a grand creak, revealing the breathtaking courtyard inside. Lush gardens line the path, and fountains spout water into the air. Aladdin's eyes widen as he takes in the splendor. Aladdin, in awe to himself, "Wow, I never imagined it would be this beautiful." Prince Aladdin's grand entrance to the palace. The genie winks at him, proud of his work. Aladdin dismounts from his horse gracefully, taking a deep breath as he prepares to meet the Sultan. The palace servants bow respectfully, and the guards stand at attention as Aladdin walks toward the palace entrance. At the grand doors, the Sultan and Princess Jasmine stand waiting. The Sultan, an older man with a warm smile, wears luxurious robes and a golden turban. Beside him, Princess Jasmine looks regal and elegant in her royal attire, her eyes curious as she observes Aladdin's approach. Sultan, cheerfully welcoming, "Welcome, Prince Aladdin of Ababwa. It is an honor to receive such a distinguished guest." Aladdin hesitates for a moment but then bows deeply, trying to remember everything Genie told him about acting like royalty. Aladdin, nervously but with a smile, "The honor is mine, Your Majesty. Agrabah is even more magnificent than I imagined." Genie, standing discreetly to the side, gives Aladdin a thumbs up of approval. Sultan, with a pleased nod, "I'm glad to hear it. We've heard tales of your kingdom, Ababwa. I must admit, it sounds like a land of great wealth and prosperity." Aladdin, catching on, trying to sound convincing, "Yes, Ababwa is a very prosperous kingdom, rich in resources and culture." Jasmine, still studying Aladdin, steps forward with a polite smile. Her eyes are filled with curiosity, as though she's trying to see through the royal facade. Princess Jasmine, softly, with a graceful nod, "Welcome, Prince Aladdin. We've never had the pleasure of meeting anyone from Ababwa before." Aladdin meets her gaze, trying to hide his nerves. He smiles back, feeling the weight of her scrutiny but also charmed by her presence. Aladdin smoothly, "It's a great honor to meet you, Princess Jasmine. I've heard stories of your beauty, but they don't do you justice." Jasmine raises an eyebrow slightly, amused but not entirely convinced. The Sultan, however, laughs heartily. Sultan, clapping his hands together, "Ah, a prince with charm. Wonderful, wonderful. Come, Prince Aladdin, join us for a tour of the palace. I'm sure you'll find it most impressive." At the grand doors, the Sultan and Princess Jasmine stand waiting. The Sultan, an older man with a warm smile, wears luxurious robes and a golden turban. Beside him, Princess Jasmine looks regal and elegant in her royal attire, her eyes curious as she observes Aladdin's approach. Sultan, cheerfully welcoming, "Welcome, Prince Aladdin of Ababwa. It is an honor to receive such a distinguished guest." Aladdin hesitates for a moment but then bows deeply, trying to remember everything Genie told him about acting like royalty. Aladdin, nervously but with a smile, "The honor is mine, Your Majesty. Agrabah is even more magnificent than I imagined." Genie, standing discreetly to the side, gives Aladdin a thumbs up of approval. Sultan, with a pleased nod, "I'm glad to hear it. We've heard tales of your kingdom, Ababwa. I must admit, it sounds like a land of great wealth and prosperity." Aladdin, catching on, trying to sound convincing. Yes, Ababwa is a very prosperous kingdom, rich in resources and culture. Jasmine, still studying Aladdin, steps forward with a polite smile. Her eyes are filled with curiosity, as though she's trying to see through the royal facade. Princess Jasmine, softly, with a graceful nod, welcome, Prince Aladdin. We've never had the pleasure of meeting anyone from Ababwa before. Aladdin meets her gaze, trying to hide his nerves. He smiles back, feeling the weight of her scrutiny but also charmed by her presence. Aladdin smoothly, it's a great honor to meet you, Princess Jasmine. I've heard stories of your beauty, but they don't do you justice. Jasmine raises an eyebrow slightly, amused but not entirely convinced. The Sultan, however, laughs heartily. Sultan, clapping his hands together. Ah, Prince with charm. Wonderful, wonderful. Come, Prince Aladdin, join us for a tour of the palace. I'm sure you'll find it most impressive. The Sultan turns and begins leading Aladdin and the genie inside, with Jasmine following alongside them. The palace interior is even more magnificent. Ornate tapestries, golden chandeliers, and intricate marble floors reflect the wealth of the royal family. Aladdin tries to keep his composure, but he's clearly amazed by the luxury around him. The Sultan turns and begins leading Aladdin and the genie inside, with Jasmine following alongside them. The palace interior is even more magnificent. Ornate tapestries, golden chandeliers, and intricate marble floors reflect the wealth of the royal family. Aladdin tries to keep his composure, but he's clearly amazed by the luxury around him. Aladdin, glancing around trying to act natural. Your palace is truly spectacular, Your Majesty. I've never seen anything like it. Sultan, proudly, thank you, my boy. It has been in my family for generations. And now, it stands as a testament to Agrabah's prosperity and strength. Jasmine walks beside Aladdin, watching him closely. She seems intrigued but skeptical, as if trying to figure out who this prince really is. Princess Jasmine, with curiosity, tell me, Prince Aladdin, what brings you to Agrabah? Is it just a visit? Or is there something more you're seeking? Aladdin glances at the genie, who gives him a subtle nod of encouragement. Aladdin clears his throat, trying to sound confident. Aladdin, smiling, choosing his words carefully, I've heard many great things about Agrabah. I wanted to see it for myself, and perhaps forge a stronger bond between our kingdoms. Jasmine continues to study him, as though weighing his words. Aladdin shifts slightly, feeling the pressure of keeping up the charade. Sultan, cheerfully cutting in, well, I'm glad you've come. Agrabah is always open to new friendships with neighboring kingdoms. You must join us for a grand feast tonight. We'll celebrate your visit properly. Aladdin smiles and bows politely, grateful for the Sultan's warm welcome. Jasmine remains thoughtful, her eyes never leaving Aladdin's face. Aladdin, bowing slightly, it would be an honor, Your Majesty. As they continue their tour through the palace, Genie lags behind, giving Aladdin another discreet thumbs up. Aladdin tries to remain composed, but the enormity of his situation is starting to sink in. He's playing a dangerous game, pretending to be a prince in front of the Sultan and princess, and there's no telling how long he can keep it up. The scene fades as Aladdin, the Sultan, and Princess Jasmine walk deeper into the palace, with the genie following closely behind, ever watchful and ready to help if needed. Scene 7, the royal feast setting. The grand dining hall of the palace, filled with the soft glow of golden chandeliers. Long tables are set with an array of sumptuous dishes, fruits, meats, delicacies from across the land, all presented in fine silver and gold platters. The hall is bustling with activity as palace servants move around, and musicians play soft tunes in the background. At the head of the table sits the Sultan, with Aladdin seated as the guest of honor beside Princess Jasmine. Aladdin tries to maintain his princely persona, but he is clearly nervous. Genie, disguised as a royal servant, hovers discreetly behind Aladdin, ready to assist at a moment's notice. He gives Aladdin an encouraging wink. Sultan cheerfully raising his goblet a toast to Prince Aladdin of Ababwa, and to new friendships between our kingdoms. Everyone at the table lifts their goblets and echoes the Sultan's toast. Aladdin smiles, though he still feels the weight of keeping up his act. Aladdin, raising his goblet, smiling to Agrabah, and to the honor of your hospitality, your majesty. They drink, and the Sultan looks pleased. Princess Jasmine, seated beside Aladdin, watches him closely as they begin to eat. She seems intrigued but cautious, as if she's trying to figure out who Aladdin really is. Sultan, enthusiastically to Aladdin, tell me, Prince Aladdin, what are the customs of your kingdom? I'd love to hear more about Ababwa. Aladdin hesitates for a moment, glancing nervously at Genie. Genie discreetly gestures with his hands, signaling for Aladdin to improvise. Aladdin, clearing his throat, thinking quickly, well, Ababwa is a small but prosperous kingdom. We pride ourselves on our generosity and our grand festivals. Every year we celebrate with music, feasting, and Genie leans in discreetly, whispering to Aladdin under his breath. Genie, whispering quickly, parades. Say parades. Aladdin, picking up the hint, continuing smoothly. And grand parades, of course. It's a celebration that the entire kingdom takes part in. The Sultan nods, impressed. Sultan, chuckling, that sounds wonderful. We'll have to visit Ababwa someday, won't we, Jasmine? Princess Jasmine, smiling politely though still skeptical, yes, it sounds fascinating. Jasmine turns her attention to Aladdin, her eyes studying him with curiosity. Princess Jasmine, softly to Aladdin, you seem to know a lot about festivals and celebrations. But what about the people of your kingdom? What do they value most? Aladdin feels the weight of her question and pauses, unsure how to answer. He glances at Genie for help, but Genie simply shrugs, leaving Aladdin to figure it out on his own. Aladdin, after a moment, thoughtfully, the people of Ababwa, they value honesty. We believe that true strength comes from being genuine, from being who you are, no matter the circumstances. Jasmine raises an eyebrow, intrigued by his answer. She seems to sense something deeper in his words. Princess Jasmine, nodding slightly, honesty. That's a rare quality in a prince. Aladdin smiles awkwardly, realizing that he might have revealed more about himself than he intended. The Sultan, however, doesn't notice the tension and continues eating happily. Sultan, laughing, well said, Prince Aladdin. Now let's enjoy this feast. You must try the roasted lamb. It's the finest in all of Agrabah. As the feast continues, Aladdin does his best to engage in conversation with the Sultan and the other nobles, all while trying to avoid Jasmine's probing questions. Meanwhile, Genie keeps an eye on him, occasionally whispering advice when Aladdin seems unsure. Genie, whispering behind Aladdin, trying to keep him on track, keep it cool, kid. You're doing great. Just don't trip over your words. Despite his nervousness, Aladdin manages to keep up appearances, though Jasmine's curiosity continues to grow. She watches him closely throughout the meal, sensing that there is more to this prince than he's letting on. The scene ends with the camera panning out over the grand feast, the palace glowing with light and music filling the air as Aladdin navigates the delicate balance of keeping his secret and impressing the royal family. In the palace garden, just outside the grand hall where the feast is taking place, it's a quiet, serene evening with a cool breeze. The garden is lit by lanterns hanging from trees, casting soft golden light on the flowers and fountains. Aladdin steps outside for a moment to get some air, visibly relieved to escape the tension of the feast. As he walks along the stone path, he hears footsteps behind him. Turning around, he sees Princess Jasmine approaching, her expression curious but serious. Jasmine calling out softly, Prince Aladdin. Aladdin turns, trying to act calm though his heart races. He smiles awkwardly as she approaches. Aladdin, nervously, Princess Jasmine. I just needed a little fresh air. It's a beautiful night. Jasmine nods, walking closer, her eyes never leaving his face. She's not fooled by his attempt at small talk. Jasmine, curiously, it is. But I didn't come out here to talk about the weather. Aladdin's smile falters. He realizes she's onto him but tries to maintain his princely persona. Aladdin, playing it cool. Oh? Then what did you want to talk about? Jasmine steps closer, her gaze sharp. There's a pause as she studies him, as if she's trying to see through the mask he's wearing. Jasmine, firmly but not unkindly. You're not who you say you are you? Aladdin's eyes widen in surprise. He opens his mouth to respond but hesitates, unsure of how to handle the situation. Aladdin, stammering slightly. I don't know what you mean. I'm Prince Aladdin of Ababwa, just like I told you. Jasmine crosses her arms, unimpressed. Her voice is calm but carries a sense of certainty. Jasmine, shaking her head. I've lived in the palace my whole life. I've met royalty from every corner of the world. And you don't act like a prince. You don't talk like one either. Aladdin is caught off guard by her words. For a moment he considers continuing the lie, but Jasmine's piercing gaze makes it clear that she won't be easily fooled. Aladdin, sighing, dropping the act. You're right. I'm not a prince. Jasmine's expression softens slightly, as though she expected this answer. She steps closer, her voice gentle but curious. Jasmine, softly, then who are you? And why are you pretending to be something you're not? Aladdin looks away, struggling to find the right words. He knows he can't hide the truth anymore, but he's afraid of what she'll think of him once she knows who he really is. Aladdin, quietly, I'm just a nobody, a street rat from the market. I found a way to look like a prince because I thought it was the only way I could ever have a chance with you. Jasmine is silent for a moment, processing what he's said. Her expression is thoughtful, not angry or disappointed. She seems more interested in understanding him than judging him. Jasmine, softly, with a hint of sympathy. Why would you think that? Aladdin, looking down, feeling vulnerable because someone like me could never be with someone like you. You're a princess and I'm just, well, I'm nothing special. Jasmine's expression softens further, and she steps even closer, her voice gentle. Jasmine, kindly, being a prince doesn't make you special, Aladdin. It's who you are that matters. And from what I've seen, you're kind, brave, and honest when you want to be. Aladdin looks up at her, surprised by her words. He expected her to be angry, but instead she's showing understanding. Aladdin, hesitant, still unsure. You're not mad? I lied to you. Jasmine, smiling slightly. I don't like being lied to, but I can see why you felt like you had to. It's not easy living in a world where people judge you by your title instead of who you really are. Aladdin feels a wave of relief wash over him. He still feels guilty for lying, but Jasmine's understanding makes it easier to face the truth. Aladdin, nodding, feeling more comfortable. I didn't mean to hurt you. I wanted to impress you, to show you that I'm worth something. Jasmine, gently, you don't need to be a prince to impress me, Aladdin. Just be yourself. There's a moment of quiet between them as they stand in the garden, the tension from earlier slowly dissolving. The sound of the fountains and the soft rustling of the leaves fill the air. Aladdin, smiling slightly, relieved. Thank you, Jasmine, for giving me a chance. Jasmine smiles back, her eyes warm. She seems to appreciate his honesty now that he's dropped the pretense. Jasmine, nodding, we'll see what happens next, but just promise me one thing. No more lies. Aladdin, grinning with a playful tone, no more lies. I promise. Jasmine laughs softly, and they share a brief, genuine smile. As the scene fades, they walk together through the garden, talking quietly, their connection now built on something more real than before. Inside the palace, in the dark and shadowy chambers of the Vizier Jafar, the room is filled with strange artifacts, scrolls, and potions. A faint red glow emanates from a crystal ball on a table at the center of the room. Jafar stands near the ball, watching the events unfold as Aladdin and Jasmine walk through the garden together. Iago, Jafar's pet parrot, perches on his shoulder, muttering sarcastic comments. Jafar, scowling, watching Aladdin. So this so-called Prince Aladdin has managed to fool the Sultan and the princess. Iago flaps his wings and squawks, his voice dripping with mockery. Iago mocking, yeah, fooled him real good. But who's he fooling? He's just some street rat with fancy clothes. Jafar's eyes narrow as he strokes his beard, deep in thought. He knows something more is at play here, and he's determined to uncover the truth. Jafar muttering, there's more to this boy than meets the eye. A mere street rat couldn't have pulled this off on his own. He turns away from the crystal ball and walks toward a large ornate mirror hanging on the wall. With a wave of his staff, the mirror shimmers and a vision appears. A vision of Aladdin finding the magic lamp in the cave. Jafar smiling darkly, yes, the lamp. It all makes sense now. The boy has stumbled upon the greatest power in the land, and he doesn't even realize what he holds. Iago hops onto the table, eyeing the mirror with curiosity. Iago excitedly, wait, you're telling me the kid has the lamp? The lamp? The one with the genie and all that wish-granting mumbo-jumbo? Jafar nodding slowly, his grin widening. Exactly, Iago. The boy possesses the genie of the lamp. That's how he's managed to deceive everyone and present himself as a prince. Jafar's expression turns cold and calculating as he begins to form a plan in his mind. Jafar darkly, but not for long. Soon the power of the lamp and the genie will be mine. Iago flaps his wings excitedly, cackling. Iago gleefully, yeah, and then we'll rule the kingdom. Riches, power, everything we ever wanted. Jafar raises his staff, his eyes glowing with a sinister light. He knows exactly what he needs to do to get the lamp from Aladdin. Jafar commanding Iago, we must act quickly. The boy may have the lamp, but he's still a fool. He doesn't understand the true power he holds, and that's his weakness. Iago nods enthusiastically, eager to help with the plan. Iago grinning, so what's the plan, boss? How are we gonna get our hands on that lamp? Jafar smiling darkly, we'll wait for the perfect moment. When Aladdin least expects it, we'll strike. And when I have the lamp in my hands, not even the Sultan will be able to stop me. Jafar raises his staff, and with a flick of his wrist, the crystal ball glows brighter, revealing Aladdin and Jasmine in the garden. His eyes narrow as he watches them, his mind racing with dark thoughts. Jafar, whispering to himself, soon Aladdin, soon everything you care about will be mine. The camera zooms in on Jafar's face, his grin widening with malevolent intent as the scene fades to black. In the palace throne room, now transformed into a twisted, dark version of itself. The walls are lined with menacing red banners, and ominous clouds swirl in the sky outside the windows. At the center of the room stands Jafar, now holding the magic lamp. His eyes glow with a sinister light as he revels in his newfound power. Aladdin, Jasmine, and the Sultan stand on the opposite side of the room, their expressions tense and determined. Genie, bound by Jafar's wishes, stands nearby, looking worried and unable to intervene. Jafar, laughing maniacally, holding the lamp at last. The power of the universe is mine to command. No one can stop me now. Iago, perched on Jafar's shoulder, cackles gleefully. Iago smirking. Yeah, you tell him, boss. You've got it all now. Aladdin steps forward, his eyes blazing with determination. Aladdin firmly, it's not over yet, Jafar. You may have the lamp, but that doesn't mean you've won. Jafar turns to Aladdin, sneering. Jafar mockingly, oh, but it does, street rat. You've been a thorn in my side for too long, but now I hold the ultimate power. Jasmine steps forward beside Aladdin, her voice strong and defiant. Jasmine, angrily, you'll never be able to rule Agrabah, Jafar. The people will never accept a tyrant like you. Jafar waves his hand dismissively, clearly unbothered by her words. Jafar coldly, the people? They are insignificant. With the genie under my control, I can shape the world however I see fit. Aladdin glances at Genie, who gives him a helpless look. He knows the only way to defeat Jafar is to outsmart him, but he needs a plan. Aladdin, thinking quickly, stepping closer to Jafar. You know, Jafar, having all that power doesn't make you the most powerful being in the universe. Jafar's eyes narrow, suspicious. Jafar skeptical. Oh? And what would you know of power, boy? Aladdin calmly, smirking. Think about it. You may have control over the genie, but you're still second to him. The genie is far more powerful than you'll ever be. Jafar pauses, clearly considering Aladdin's words. His expression tightens with anger as he turns toward Genie. Jafar growling, is that true, Genie? Am I not the most powerful being in the world? Genie, trying to remain neutral, shrugs and speaks carefully. Genie hesitantly, well, you do have a lot of power now, but technically I'm still more powerful than you since I can grant wishes and all. Jafar's eyes blaze with fury. He can't stand the idea of being second to anyone, even a genie. Jafar angrily, then I wish to be the most powerful being in the universe. Make me a genie. Genie hesitates, glancing at Aladdin, who nods subtly. Genie sighs and raises his hands. Genie reluctantly, as you wish, master. A blinding light engulfs Jafar as he transforms into a massive, red-skinned genie. His power surges through the room, shaking the palace itself. But just as quickly, golden shackles appear on Jafar's wrists, binding him to the magical laws of a genie. Jafar, confused, looking at the shackles. What is this? Aladdin, smiling triumphantly, phenomenal cosmic power. But an itty-bitty living space. Suddenly, a black lamp appears at Jafar's feet. Realizing too late what has happened, Jafar is sucked into the lamp, screaming in rage. Jafar shouting as he's pulled in, no, this can't be happening. The room goes silent as the lamp falls to the ground with a clink. Jafar now trapped inside. Iago flapping frantically, panicking, oh, boss. Boss. Iago flies toward the lamp, but before he can reach it, Genie snaps his fingers and the lamp vanishes, taking Iago with it. Genie, wiping his hands, that takes care of that. Aladdin, Jasmine, and the Sultan breathe a sigh of relief. Aladdin picks up the original lamp, holding it out to Genie. Aladdin grinning, hey Genie, you're free. Genie's eyes widen in shock, realizing what Aladdin is offering him. Genie emotional, free? You'd really do that for me? Aladdin nodding, you've been a great friend. It's time for you to live your own life. With a smile, Aladdin rubs the lamp one last time. The shackle around Genie's wrists vanish, and a burst of golden light surrounds him. Genie is free. Genie cheering, floating in the air, free at last. I'm free. Thank you all. I don't know what to say. Aladdin smiles, watching Genie celebrate his newfound freedom. Jasmine softly smiling at Aladdin, you did it, Aladdin. The Sultan steps forward, placing a hand on Aladdin's shoulder, clearly impressed. Sultan, gratefully, young man, you've proven yourself to be truly noble. You are more than worthy of being called a prince. Aladdin smiles humbly, but his eyes turn to Jasmine, who looks at him with admiration and warmth. Jasmine, smiling, prince or not, I know who you really are, Aladdin. They share a meaningful look, their bond stronger than ever. The camera pans out as the palace begins to brighten, and peace returns to Agrabah. The adventure is over, but a new chapter is just beginning for Aladdin, Jasmine, and their friends.